I would say 60 seconds to get there. So please hold on. Really long in the garage. Unless we get held up, see me rail, might take us.
Well, we've done the bus?
Maybe like basically, you'll have the entrance and exit garage, and then basically, we'll be picking up at the same spot that I dropped it off. The tour is about anywhere from please hear like maybe 90 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer. Just enjoy yourself. People that have t-shirts, so
yeah, because that's what it's saying. Hey, we love to do it. Because the train is walking the road, that's why we're
get off. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, so once you get off,
hey, we're in the tunnel.
follow the red carpet.
I said we're in the tunnel.
Bouncer, right. So just, yeah, show your pass.
Chugga, choo-choo.
Oh, he's scary. Okay, not that scary. He's like a nice guy. He kind of makes this waving motion.
I'll leave it out here, actually. All right, absolutely. This is almost. You're going to have a blast, actually. My name is Russell Davis. I'm the manager of Transit Fleet in Calgary Transit. So our group is the group that looks after everything in transit that has wheels on it. So we look after 192 trains, we look after 1,100 buses, and we look after about 60 or 70 auxiliary vehicles, which are kind of like pickup trucks, semis, SUVs for the operation supervisors, as well as one transit teddymobile that you may have seen right around. So we look after all of those things, and you'll get to see one of those later on, I think.
No sleds.
No sleds. So all those vehicles are looked after in 4 facilities. This is one of them, obviously, and Anderson is our smallest facility. It was opened in 1980, and this was about the limit of Calgary. So Anderson Station just across the way was the end of the line, and after this was like sweet nothing. I think it was Lethbridge, and that was it. So it was kind of good at that point, but things have grown a lot since then. We noticed that here as well. So this facility, when it was first built, was originally meant to look after 60 trains and 110 buses. But right now we look after 110 trains and about 183 buses. So it's kind of packed at the moment, much like this room. And when you see at the back there, you'll see the storage barns, you'll see all the buses and trains all kind of compressed in together. You'll still get a good feel for the site as you walk around, I think, and you'll hear some interesting things. Now the tour normally takes about 90 minutes. Good luck. Good luck. Okay. There are 6 or 7 stops as you go around. We look at things like the heavy machining on the trains. We'll look at the electronic repair side of the trains and the history there. We'll look at engine rebuilds and refurbishment on the bus side. Then we head over to the body shop. We look at all the body refurbishment work. We look at things like vandalism. We look at how we paint the trains, all those kind of things. Then we go to the service lanes. The service lanes where we clean these things. And that's where the fun kind of starts, really, because everybody that's kind of interested, you get a ride on the train, you get to go through the train wash, and all the little people, if you're kind of lucky, you get to sort of shout to the driver and say, give me a go, and then they put you up front, you get to ring the bell, ring the clanger, and you can hear them having fun with it outside there already. If the adults are equally nice, you might get a chance to do it as well. It's a hard push for you guys, I'm telling you. So I'm not going to say much more about the tour right now. There's just 2 more things I want to say. Obviously, the first one is related to safety. This is a live garage here right now. We are still supporting service out online, so obviously there is a chance that something may need to happen in the garage here, so I need you to be very, very aware of your surroundings, and I need you to be ultra careful that you stay with your guides. Your guides today are going to be Donna, Rob, probably Tanya, and Mark, who's hiding in the glass by the door, you can't get in. He's your 4th one as well. So those 4 guys, make sure you stay with those 4 guys at all times. They get scared when they get lost, So they just need to have a couple of people around them. Okay?
We're just gonna have a holding pattern right now. We've got one group just finishing at the first station. So we're just gonna hold it for a second, and then Stephen's gonna come down.
Sure, I'll let finish that.
So you can sit there and tell us more about your life, like in general.
Just not finished, right? Keep going. So yeah, wherever you do, please make sure you stay with these 4 guys here. I say it is a safety critical facility here. There's a lot of things that could go wrong. All the little people in the room, it's generally better if I trust you. Little people, I need holding my hand to the big people. The big people are notoriously bad at listening to rules and instructions, okay? Little people listen to what they're told, big people think they know better. Not true, okay? So as you go around, just make sure your parents don't try to fall in a hole. Don't put their finger in any holes in the wall. Don't try to lick any pieces of wire. Don't try to lift up anything heavy. Don't try and kick anything. Don't try and hug anything. Okay? Don't do any of that stuff. Just hold the hands of your parents. Make sure they don't do anything daft. Okay? Everybody does that. Everybody be happy. So you hold your parents' hand. Your parents look out for the guys in the black t-shirts. Everybody's going to get through this quite well. Okay?
We're good to go.
One other thing, on the last station as we head on out, there is a comments book we're putting together right now. We're trying to find out whether people like these kind of tours and whether we can expand into some of our other facilities. We have done one of these tours before at Oliver Bowen, our train facility of the Northeast. Has anybody been to that before? Yeah? Oh man, you'll be so disappointed today. That's a bright, shiny new thing, and it's got all the toys in it and everything. This thing is kind of like pre-Victorian, it looks like. But it will be good, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, so there's a comment section. We would like to have your opinions on it as well. We open up to some of our other facilities, some of our other bus facilities, or even redo the all-in-one train facility as well. So your comments will be very, very useful to us as well. Okay? So I'll leave it.
There's other areas that do different functions. We do light repair and maintenance. So you think of your vehicle would be like changing the oil, filters, tires, all that kind of stuff. Just to keep all the little stuff up in shape so that they stay running smooth. Okay? So when we're maintaining these trains, they run on 600 volts DC. So that 600 volts DC is live through the shop. Unless we specifically shut it off. So as the maintenance people, we have to be aware of that, right? Because when you can't see it, you can't smell it, but when you touch it, it hurts. So part of the safety system within the shop is we have basically switches over there. Shut off the power sections. The sections are marked with these isolators. Okay, we can shut off the section that this train's on above, and then we can safely work underneath without any potential 600 volts, right? So that's one thing that we really have to be aware of when we're working here. The trains, like I say, run on 600 volts DC, and the old cars you choose here, they are DC. They use that DC current, and they use it in that state, right? The new cars, the SDs here, they're AC propulsion, right? So we have to take that DC power and change it to AC, all done within the car, right? So that way we keep the systems constant out there, all 600 volts, right? So let me just, if you don't mind, I'll show you a few things that we do in the shop as far as maintenance. If you can kind of gather around over here. There's a couple items to look at. Down here, don't everybody can see. Okay, so does anybody know we have these individual cars, but we have trains that run out there. How many cars make up one train?
Three.
I heard 3.
It was me.
Good job. I heard a lot of 3s. Good job to everybody. All right. So yes, 3 cars make one train. Okay, so in order to make a train, we have to couple those cars together, right there. Okay, makes a mechanical coupling between the cars, right? Just like that. Okay. This is a drawn buff attached to the coupler. Okay. okay, attached to the train. Or the car, sorry, car. Drawn buffer absorbs the shock between the cars as they're going down the track as a train. Okay, well that's like a train. So, anyways, all the cars, doesn't matter what kind, SD, U2, Series 8, they all have one of these keys actually on either end of each car. Okay? This is a disc brake motor specific to the older units. So this technology is from around the 50s, 40s. It's old technology, but you're reliable because these things have been going. Not too bad. Right? Anyways, disc brakes. You have disc brakes on your cars. This controls the pads. Disc brake stops the train. On the U2s, it's only used for below 5 to 7K and when you're parked. Very close to the train. Here we have. This is called diverter mode. What this does is just opens and closes a door to heat the body of that train. So in winter, we want to keep it warm for customers. This just opens and closes the door. That hot air that's generated as the train moves, it creates heat through resistors as it's moving. Take that heat, use the air as a medium, right? So it just opens and closes the door. But it takes maintenance. Keep it going.
These will come together, this car and this main car will be able to control the back two. So each car operates individually, so each one has motors and each one pushes when it gets commands from the front car. And if they want to turn the doors on or any announcements, everything is all controlled from here. This is how they get connected to each other car. That's all it is.
Steps there.
因为他那些工作那些人，他们都下载去新的 C 处理工作，发现在里边不听。
Try not to. They run better. They're on track. But it is possible. Yes.
Just a question. I've noticed that you guys have two U2 AC cards, the 2101 and 2102s, that always run with the SDs,
It's because these ones basically run off AC power and transfer the AC into AC and they run.
So do they have 4 traction motors in it too?
Yeah.
What's that? Sorry?
Do they have 4 traction motors? Because I know that I've heard that the SDs have 4 traction.
So, oh yes, yes, absolutely. Yes, they do actually. Yeah, for sure. 4.
They're totally these cars. They
So
look the
I've
same.
seen these ones run with them too. So is that a lot of work to older technology with the Series 7?
It's just, you know, they've got them working, but because they're so different within themselves, we just find it easier to just, generally we keep U2s with U2s, SDs with SDs, but you know what, we will work together. There's some slight things that happen for the driver. He has to see, he thinks some things seem a little different with that. Other than that, they are supposed to work together.
The AC car better than non-AC?
Yes. These are more powerful. This one's more powerful, right?
I hear the choo-choo sound.
会有这个问题，
Where?
Seating involvement.
看不见它这。
Storage system. And then Siemens came here and wanted to sell all of North America. And the USA said we can buy American stuff. Siemens came to Sacramento and they built a plant. And so these ones built in Sacramento. Yep. And these basically show up on the farm bed on a train and we unload them to shop. Like the next 50, we don't know where they're coming from. The next 50 we're going to buy, they're still up for tenders, so they're taking offers.
Train here, folks. This is a result of 2 trains that were in fairly substantial accidents. Each car has an A side and a B side, and because there's 2 trains that were involved in these accidents, we decided in this shop that we're trying to put them together, take the bad ones out, move them aside, and put the 2 good sides together. They said they didn't think we could do it, but we proved them wrong. Over the period of about 3-4 months, we took them apart and then put them all back together. So this is kind of like a Frankenstein train. It's from two different series of cars, or 2 different types of cars, and we put them together, and here they are now, and it's still a working train. So we saved the taxpayers quite a bit of money by using this instead of getting rid of 2 cars and put together. So it's kind of got a neat story to it. We'll just walk you down here to the lathe. Watch the rails here. Sometimes people will trip on them like I did last time. Gather around here, folks. We have some free giveaways here. You can be part of the C train here. Our people here are going to talk to you about the lathe and how it works and what it does. And you can go on the way of the Calgary Transit District. Very proud of you.
Alright guys, this is our wheel lathe area. Every about once a year or so we have to come back in and we call reprofile the tire. This is actually a tire and rim type of assembly. This outer piece is what we call the tire. Then there's a series of rubber blocks in between. They help us control noise and vibration and that sort of thing. And then you have a standard rim, very much like you would have on your car. This one here on my left is a brand new assembly, 720 millimeter diameter. This one over here, we discard these at 660. This one's actually about 640. We just use it for testing the machine and whatnot after we work at it. The wheel lathe is this big green monster that lives down here in this pit. This is a tracing type lathe. I don't know if you probably can't all see it. There's 2 yellow pieces down there. That's the template that we use to give us the shape we want. And it just there's just a little pointer that rides along, and then it transfers that up to the cutting head. A couple of clarifying bits are up there going through the actual cutting. And this is what actually comes off of that machine. And it's quite sharp, which is why we have it wrapped in plastic. What we do is when we have to do machine wheels, we'll bring the train in, lift it up hydraulically, the machine turns the wheel, the two big arms on either side just sort of hold it in place so it doesn't water off on us. And then we just set the machine, let it do its thing, and after a while we have a nice reprofiled wheel. The most important reason we do that is to keep our flange, which is this part here, which rides on the inside of the rail, keeps the train on the tracks. We also only run on about the back third of this of the wheel, just to reduce the rolling resistance and that kind of thing. Other main reason that we machine wheels is because of flat spots. You may hear a freight train go by and it's going tick, 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 tick all the way along. That's a flat spot. CP Rail doesn't really care about flat spots because toasters and coffee makers do not care about flat spots, but people do. And some people don't like that tick, tick, tick sound, so we have to get those out. Flat spots, they get developed mostly because either the wheel spins or the wheel slides as it's trying to stop. Rail is much harder than this tire. It is much cheaper to change tires than to change rails. So, so we'll bring them in there. And you get, it looks like you can see a flat spot. It's actually visible on a wheel. It's usually about the size of a quarter. The more in pounds, the bigger the spot obviously is. So we'll bring it in and we'll machine those out. What we do, what else this is, these are actually center truck axles. They're just three-wheel idlers. They just roll. There's no power to them. That's actually a powered section. That's how we determine whether the train's actually sliding or spinning. And that way it can either try to reduce the power a little bit, or drop some sand to increase traction, try to keep those flat spots to a minimum. If there's any questions, we'll gladly entertain them. First guy through, it's not so bad. Then you crush them all down, and now you got this nice slimy piece on here. The second guy through, yeah, this could be a little more interesting. I think there was one point the GO train in Toronto. They're sort of interested in you actually have to shut it down for a day because it was quick lock stop.
I noticed you have grease maps to reduce noise on the line, and I imagine that plays a factor in time to brake.
It's not so bad. What we're actually trying to grease is this flange. That's what's doing the real squealing. So it's yeah. All this shows it's just flooding up against the rail in places. That's why we put a little bit of grease in there. Even if you get some material on the actual running surface, you get about 3 revolutions of that wheel, it's gone again and you're back to normal. What this is, guys, you guys can take home with, this is actually a slice of an old tire. But we had to, it was just worn out, we had to discard, so somebody took the time and took the big hacksaw and actually cut it all into little slices for you. So if you all put them together later, you can rebuild the tire.
Everything has been crazy.
Yeah, or duct tape. Probably not well.
Is that it, Donna? We need a couple more coming.
Come on over here.
Good. So this is just another service area. We service the vehicles here. If you look down at the end here, the little booth back there, that used to be a paint booth. It was originally designed as a paint booth. Now we call it the blowdown booth. And what happens in that booth is they bring the car in there. The operators can't go underneath the thing. They use a high power pressure air machine, and they clean the bottom of the cars off, because you can well imagine throughout the day with all the grease and oil and dirt that's on the rails, it builds up underneath the train. So they just clear it out all underneath there. There's a huge vacuum that it all goes into, and then it's taken away. So that's what they use. That once that car's finished, it'll go back into service.
How many hours of transit?
And I said,
So we're moving into another specialized area here. First, I want to know, is there any kids here that are really strong? Anybody that's any kids that are really strong? Put up your hand. Are you strong? Because our mechanics here need some help. They need some help pushing a bogey there, and I need a couple of strong kids that can come and help us do that.
I can help.
Okay, you come on down here. These guys are going to show you what we're in a bunch of
Mark, wait for me.
I'm going to show you something.
How you doing today? Good? Everybody having fun on the tour?
No.
Well, this is heavy electrical rebuild repair area. This is where we do a lot of the electrical rebuild. And this is one of the bogies that the train's ride on. Underneath there. And 3 on each train. How heavy do you think this thing is? 5,000 pounds. So, you guys want to, who wants to hop on, put your hands on the fender there, we're going to see if you guys can move this thing or not. Oh, watch your hands there. You'll get a chance. There we go. There you go. Good job. That's good. That's good there. Right there. Down.
Some more different guys come more bad.
Does anybody else want to try and push it? Here, don't pull it. You gotta go to that end. You go to this end here. Switch ends going down there. Go down to that end.
Well, the little guys up front.
Wait till nobody's in front of it. There's good. Come on over here, guys. This side. Go down to that end.
Do you want to go push
down to that end. Watch.
Okay, watch out, guys. It's going to come back this way.
Hey, watch your feet, watch your toes.
Watch your toes. Step back. Oh, there we go. Good job.
You guys are too strong.
Here we have
Good job.
really strong
So
kids.
there you can see how easy these trains move around, and this being 5,000 pounds, you guys are really strong. That's awesome. So if you guys want to go over here, we'll show you some of the pieces that make the train move. Some of the electrical stuff, the computers. So this is one of the first series of the trains. This is called the U2. These are made in Germany and assembled here. So some of the components we pulled out, this is what we rebuild here in this area. We got some auxiliary heaters up there that give us some heat. This is the computer that actually controls this train here. This was really the cutting edge technology in 1970, 1980. It's called a somatic, and we still use this today in these trains that you see driving around, the U2 trains. There's some relays on the side. These control the functions in the train, turn things on and off, heating systems on the trains. Some of the other components in the train here, there's the transmission out of the train. It's all electrical. 600 volts is what we get for overhead power. We have 21 drive steps forward and 17 in braking. So we adjust the 600 volts, and that's how we get our electronic transmission.
No, Gavin. That was great.
If you guys move down here, you can see some of the other pieces.
That was great.
We use these to generate power on the train. We take our 600 volts and we can make 220 volts AC. We can make 12 volts or 24 volts DC. these are one of the problem areas on the U2s, and we're switching them over. It's called a rotary converter. And these are now going on these trains here. It's called a static converter. So it takes 600 volts and it breaks it down, makes all different types of voltages for us. 24 volts, 220 volts for different systems on the train. So we've got, about half the train switched over the U2s, and we're now going to this static converter style generator. So that's all the pieces on the old trains. This is all the new pieces on the newer trains. You can see down there the FDs. A little more high tech, more computer control. A lot more shiny. And all these things can go into this big box up here called the T-box. And this is what we do down here. We do T-box rebuilds. So we take all these pieces out, test them, diagnose them, repair them, and replace anything, put them back in the T-box. And there's 2 of these that go under each train on the newer trains. So that's called the T-box, and down here we do T-box rebuild. So one of those loaded up, I think it's about 20,000 pounds by the time you get all the electronics in it. Down here you can see when we have an accident train, this one got hit by a backhoe on 7th Avenue. So what we do is we take the good half of the train, watch your fingers on that, sure. If you go down that side, you can see we take the 2 good halves of the train, put them together, we make brand new trains. We make car 90 kind of 2 halves.
That's fiberglass.
Yeah.
Come on back.
So we take the broken train and we send that out for recycling, take all the good pieces off of it, we send it out for recycling. This is some pictures of the 2 gentlemen that did the car 90. They had to separate down the wire, 2 good halves together, make sure everything works, test it, and go back online. And drive the train. Yeah, that was the backhoe. The driver was going past. This was a couple years ago, probably about 2 years ago, yeah. So they wrote off this end and we can save the other end, sell it together. If you guys go back up there, I'll show you the last component of the train. So this is called a Panograph. When you got a appliance at home, then you need your microwave or your stereo TV, you got to plug it into the wall. So this is how we plug the trains in. It's called a Panograph. This is on the roof of all the trains. We got the wire up top, 600 volts. And this goes up, it connects, and we get our 600 volts gets fed down into the trains. And this is called a Panograph. It rides on the wire called the catenary. You want to try and pull that down?
Watch out, guys. Step back from the...
There you go.
Watch your head.
Back here, watch your
And then you got to let it back up so you get your power. There you go. Just pull it back down when you want it down. Then let her back up to get your power. Anybody else want to try it? Okay.
Watch your head, guys. Everybody knows.
There you go. Put her back up to get your power. There you go. Let this guy here give her a try. So we always got to bring these in, adjust the tension on them. There you go. Then let her back up. There you go. We'll show you on the top, so you guys step back a bit, we'll bring it right down. Watch your head above you.
Watch your head, guys.
So these here are called carbons. This rides on the catenary. You can see the line through the shop and it goes all over the city. And these last about a year. Similar to a brake pad on a car. This is a wear material. Yeah, you did good. So we replace these about once a month, or once a year, sorry. We inspect the whole pantograph about once a month. And these go up and down because certain areas of the city, the catenary goes low in the shop or it goes high, and they got to go up and down. So we'll put her back up so you get lots of power for your train. Oh. So you guys got any questions?
Is there a difference between what the
No, they just got the newer style, just different weights and different manufacturer makes them, but same idea, yeah.
Just the one.
Yeah, each car has their own Panograph unit on it. So they each get the 600 volts and feed it down to the traction motor.
And buses. So this is the bus side that's called Diesel, close to the Diesel area. So this is where it all happens. Originally when we built this garage, it was designed for 130 buses. We're well over capacity as we are with trains, and so we're kind of squished in this, and you'll see that in just a minute. There's 8 bays here that we can use to repair the buses. The smallest can help in all of our garages, so there's only 8 areas. 4 lifts here to repair the buses, 12 lifts. We walk down here, we're going to go to here's one of these, this is a man, it's kind of like holding a remote for a guide. It's a guide thing. Look at the size of these tools. I mean, a lot of these you couldn't use in your own house, but pretty big, eh?
That's my favorite red.
This is your favorite red. Yeah, you can hold it, right?
It's a big, heavy one.
Really strong.
Yeah. It's like the size of, it's like the size of the bag, right? Right?
Not as big
That one's that thing that they gave us. John, Steve, you can lift it.
And they're all called Armstrong. So we had to crank it 6 times to move it around one, move it around corner. So when we got this, we had power steering. Oh, this is great. So this is our first example of power steering. You can see that there's something missing from this bus. Anybody know what's missing?
What's missing, sir?
Yes, the engine's missing out of this bus. So what they've done on the MCI buses is the entire engine and transmission come out, including the bumper. If you look down the way here, you can see the old engine has been taken out and replaced with a rebuilt engine. So we're going to come down here and talk to this young man here. We're going to tell you all of the
But that's very dangerous because under pressing comes down and lose oil bombs and it'll be all squishy. Yeah, you'll be squishy like a squishy ball. Yeah, and you'll be
the replacement for this one and has been overhauled at the Spring Garden. The transmission has been redone as well. This one will be joined together and we're going to put it back into the bus. This component is the muffler, which has the catalytic converter inside. If the turbo has the failure and pumps the oil and this one, you have to replace it. It's very expensive. Because of this, we're getting less emission into the air. So we're trying to keep the very close maintenance program on this unit, the cycle engine. So less pollution, cleaner air. The engine behind this fellow is 50 series engine, which is 4-stroke, 4-cylinder engine. The Detroit engine, which runs much cleaner, less emission, And we have behind this engine the B400 transmission, which has the 6 gears. But with this engine, the bus can travel at 220, 225 clicks. We reprogrammed the computer and we dropped only to 5. So the operator can only use 5 gears. He doesn't have the access to 6 gears, which give you guys more safer on the road. The components next to it, the steering boxes, 2 different types of steering boxes what we're using currently on those buses. The components, when we do it, the brake job, the new lead of some of these tools, that's the brake drums from the rear wheels, shoes, and the components on the bench. You can see starter, compressor, turbo, small dry shaft, and next to it we have on display the
Come here, train is coming. Say your wave now.
Here.
The buses are dispatched upstairs. The operators come in. They know what lane they're going to be in, what road they're going to do, and they take them off by time. So the operator starts at 5:45, and he's the first one up to start, and they eventually that's how they start. All of these buses will go on.
Do you want to check out?
Once it's etched, you're not have straight on or just white straight on. Over here, these are panels, side panels on the trains. Like 2203 was just done, so all of this would have been cut out. The rest of those would go right in there.
Some examples of all the vandalism done. Here, somebody going through a rock at the train as it went by. These are cut seats. We get a lot of that. They cut the door window rubbers that hold the windows in. It's cut seats, yeah. This is their seat back on an SD. You can see they burn holes right through them with lighters, cigarettes, whatever. You replace a lot of those. A lot of this. A lot of that. If you look over at this board over here, you'll see a lot of the costs.
sơn lại để ngoài gửi để lên sơn gửi cái gì để nó làm cái thanh mình tốn vào.
To buy a whole, yeah, so it's a little over $4 million.
I'm gonna go inside and see the whole thing.
Afterwards.
Jess, can I answer how much a sea train costs? Do you have any idea?
$2 million?
It costs $4 million.
That's only
4 triệu một cái 4 triệu một chiếc siêu liệt á. Cái này chú cái này chú đang sơn xe mới này. So how often we paint the car?
Servicing of bus every day when they come back from the revenue service guys. The buses come, the drivers bring the bus and they leave it in the barn and they go home. So we come at 4:30 in the afternoon and we home from 4:30 till 1:30 in the morning. So what my crew does, they bring the bus around, they come through this door and then where they park and he gets in the bus and he cleans all the things, picks up all the cabbages, bottles and everything. When he's doing that, the guy on the left side, his job, we call it the fueler, and he would fuel the bus, put the mileage in, how far the bus went, the amount of liters of fuel it took, and the guy who's on the right side, he will tell how much oil and antifreeze he had. Okay? And both the guys will thumb the tires at the same time to check the tire pressure because it's fuelless and we cannot see them. So when that job is done, then the guy will use the bus up here where there is a vacuum at the back and he would vacuum half the back of the bus. The guy who is driving the bus will get out and he will vacuum the front of the bus. Once he's done, he will run the bus to the wash if it's needed, and then I have a guy in the back who knows which unit is good, which unit needs repairs, or if you feel okay if it's a day, before he will tell you what to do, repairs, light, burn light, the leak, brake jaw, whatever. And you send it to the shop or everything to the same thing is very fun. The feeling is, you know, a music or a restaurant, he will go to anything. 500 users this and we use it here. But 150 liters of diesel very good. So the tank work takes about 10 months to the unit. So that is the answer. And we don't know 50,000 liters of fuel here. We connect 50 buses, 300 buses at Victoria. That's right. Good job. Wow.
Pop, pop, pop. Okay. That's time. Yeah. So are we going inside the bus? I don't know.
So this, folks, is the Nova bus. It's a bus that we picked up started using about 3.5 years ago. Built in Montreal. It's very efficient. It also is very environmentally you can see what that does is it actually burns off the exhaust, so we have very few emissions going into the system right now. So in Calgary Transit, we are very environmentally challenged, so we're doing the best that we can to save our environment here. So all the new generation buses are coming up. Next door to it.
Three cents.
This bus here is a compressor. Hard to go against the corner. This bus here is the compressed natural gas bus. We have these on loan. We're trying them out right now. We have 2 here right now, and 2 more coming in May. We use these ones. We're trying them out to see how they do in winter conditions. They are throughout the states, down the southern states. You see them all the time because they don't use diesel down there anymore. But that's a different climate. So we have these for 18 months as a trial basis. They are working right now on routes 72 and 73. There's only 2 of them, so one runs on either side because it's a longer route. And you've seen how they work. People have told us that they are very quiet to ride on. You can notice a significant noise difference than even the Nova. So if they work out, this will be the next generation of buses that will buy. They are very cost efficient. Also is natural gas, and we're the province of natural gas, so hopefully everything will work out and we can start purchasing these buses. They cost about $700,000.
700.
That's about 6 and change. So what I'm going to do now, folks, is we're going to go into the wash lane. This is where the LRT train or the trains are washed. I would ask that moms and dads that you hold on to your children. There is a ramp there, and then there's a pit where the train comes in. As in all train stations, please stay back of the yellow line and hold on to your children, your kids, hold on to your mom and dad. We don't want anybody to fall. We're going to get on the train, and I've heard rumors that the motorman that is driving the train may need some help from you young folk there. So if you want to, he'll call you up and you can actually bring those clangers and honk that horn, which I'm getting real tired of. Okay, so be careful. We've got to climb the stairs, and it's a very narrow ramp, so be careful.
Folks, we just got another train that's coming in. Because it's a large group, we're going to try and split you guys in half. So if you guys aren't maybe with this group or with these individuals, you guys may want to make an extra.
Yeah, if you're not attached to each other too much.
There you go.
No, probably.
Is this everybody that's on here that watch? Everybody's on?
I'm not leader. I'm not good. Okay.
Come on up to the front, guys. We'll do all the talking from up front. I'm just going to close it. We don't want to do that.
Do you want to sit down or jump stand up here? Liam, you want to sit down probably.
15 in the morning, we work 4 days a week and 3 days off. We have between 22 and 25 keys all over the night on this lane, which give us approximately between 10 and 15 minutes to clean between trains, which it's not enough time to do perfect cleaning, so we do basic, and usually weekend staff, since they have more time, they do detailed cleaning. Our cleaning is, we do recycling, we pick up all what is recyclable, then we proceed with cleaning. We do as much as we can. We take care of graffiti, we take care of fingerprints, we do the floors. In this we have 22 keys plus 7 keys we have in Haysboro Barn, which is like remote cleaning. We pick up the paper, we sweep, and we spot map. We just map the spill if we have spills, because we don't have platform days and it's really hard to go up and down the train if you need to have a bucket, if you do like cleaning like we do here. So we just do basically just sweep and spot map in Haysboro. Most of the cleaning is going here. We take care of sanding, which we put sand in these boxes for trains. We do windshield washer fluid. Taking care about for vomit and blood, we do with our wet vacuums, which is big help for us. It's faster and it's more like healthier, safety. Lost and found, most stuff people are losing on trains are cell phones and wallets, which we usually tag. We bring upstairs to dispatch and they send it next day to Lost and Found downtown. Weird stuff we found on the trains are like wheelchairs, crutches, dentures,
trombones. You take that as a hint, or anyway, that's a joke.
That's okay. Our busiest time is stampede time, when we have, this year we're going to have 34 keys coming through the lane. That's because pretty much trains are going 24/7 for stampede. So in that time we have a little bit of overtime, which is good for us. Because we have 6 people here on the lane doing the keys, and we have 6 people in a barn, which you're going to see on track 1 and 2. So we can handle up that 34 keys going to the lane. So that will be my little input. So if you have any questions, you're free to ask. Nothing? Okay.
Just a question, because you say that, so trains start probably around 4 in the morning, right? So
3 o'clock in the morning is the first train, and you're going to say, when is the last train? 2:35. So we are 25 minutes away from 24-hour service, if you guys didn't even know it. During Stampede, we are 24-hour. And when Maya said we did 34 keys at Stampede, that a key is a 3-car train. So now times 34 times 3, that's how many cars the group has to clean. That's a lot of cars.
So at the peak time, how many keys are already cleaned?
We'll usually have about 31 to 33 during peak time. The morning rush hours begin at 5, even though I know rush hour for you guys probably 7:30 for transit. 5 o'clock is when our rush hour starts, and it goes to 9:30 in the morning. Then you see normal 10-minute service on the trains, and then our afternoon rush hour starts at 1:30 for trains, and it goes till 7:30 at night.
and then they start to come off, and then that's when they start to
So 31 feet, is that just for the 201 or the 201?
That's combined, 201 and 202, or if you're going by the Uke signs, the red line and the blue line. Yeah, combined, you bet. Okay. Thanks, Maya.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good day.
See ya. For, well, let me see. I was a bus driver, I was a train operator, I was a train rail controller, so very similar to what a air traffic controller does, except it's the control center that controls all those 34 trains you're talking about. And then I came to the training department about 11 years ago. So everybody you see driving a train, that's my job. I got to teach them how to operate this vehicle. So it's more than just operators, but you'll always see the operators on mainline. So what I'm going to do, guys, I know they split up the group because it was a big group. So you get the first half, so you get the good training officer. Yeah, good enough. There are 7 LRT training officers at Calgary Transit, so Dave Wong's behind us and Todd as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the wash lane here so you get to see what happens just like a car wash. Maya will take these through every night except when it's like minus 30, she doesn't do it because it'll all freeze on the outside, okay? And then I'm going to take you to the storage lanes and then out inside the yard. When we get to the yards, that is when we'll be able to go inside the cab and actually take some pictures if you wanted to be inside the cab, play with the horn and the clanger, because it is kind of cool. I have to admit, I still get a kick out of it. My daughters are 26 and 25, and I remember when I started as a train operator, they were about your size. So I've been through this. It is pretty cool. So guys, any questions, do not hesitate. I'm going to start to move the train. And just so you know, driving a train is pretty simple. All I need is a left hand and a left foot. That's all I need. Okay? Everybody here's got one of those, right? Excellent. So if you want, you can come inside the cab. You can come look at me drive. I'll be explaining. I'll be on the PA. If you got questions, shout them out. Now, don't hog the cab though. Try to rotate through so people get to see. And I know the kids like the sound of the clanger. I always like to do that. There's going to be some areas where I'm going to say no clanger or no horn because we got workers, okay?
Does anybody want to come up to the cab right now? Sure.
Got lots of time. Hi everybody, so I'll just keep the PA on. Can you hear me? Excellent, excellent. The flight attendant will be coming around shortly. So what's happening is we're going to go through the wash lane here. Don't do any of the timing yet. So what's going to happen is I'm going to move up right about here, and I'm going to stop, and these brushes are going to start to come on. See the brushes coming on the left-hand side? I do. I have cameras on these trains. You look at that one because the brushes are going to start on the right-hand side here in a second. Oh, there they go. Okay? I should hope all the windows are closed. Are the windows closed? Okay, good. As long as the windows are closed, we're safe. Actually, there's no windows back there. Yeah, see? There she is. So now, this is where train operators always on their timing before they move it.
Just so you know, the train you're in weighs 42.5 metric tons. It's quite heavy, so that's why the operators will always sound their clanger before they move the train. And since they're electric, they're very, very quiet. That's why they also sound the clanger. Now, if you don't listen to the clanger, what do you think the driver does? You bet. That's why he's got a horn too. I'm not going to do the horn in the garage because I'll make people deaf. It is that loud. So, if I was out on the outside, it's loud, but the sound disperses, okay? So, as we're coming up here, the one track that we were on is now turning into 12 tracks. If you want to come up and take a look, you can see now this is called the West Fan area. It goes into 12 tracks.
Parker, Liam, come on up. Let's give somebody else another turn. Come on back here, Liam. Somebody else's turn, Liam. Come on back. We'll be on the train for a little while. Come on back here. We'll sit down. Yeah, I see that all these are playing the scene for a little while. And then we'll get another turn up there. Watch what? Oh, you mean in the cab?
Okay, what's your name? Hey, Grace's mom or dad, could you wave? Just wave for us. Hey, there your mom's waving. There she is. Look at her. Tell her to top the top of her head. Come on. Yeah, there she goes. Okay, sorry Grace's mom, we were using you. But what happens here is they were asking about these cameras. We have access to cameras on these trains, so we see everything that goes on inside of a train. The drivers are not going to be looking at it because they're going to be driving. But what happens is if a passenger emergency button is pressed, they will have access to see what is going on inside the train. So, this is good for you guys to know. Whenever you are on a train, I want you to feel safe. If you feel unsafe at any time, that's when I want you to push the emergency buttons. And maybe Mark back there, if you wanted to know where they are, Mark could show you, but you only push these if it's an emergency and you need help. And the driver will come right back and help you, okay?
Buttons will pick. I like to use diesel inside the barn because all the fumes. So the guys ride bikes. Keeps them in shape and it's eco-friendly as well.
That's great. Cô chú đi lấy xe đạp vậy đâu? Chú lấy xe đạp không?
Excellent. Now, ooh, I got track crew guys. He's in the track. Hey, that's Curtis. That's Curtis indeed. All right.
One of you would like to see?
Jim.
What are we going to do now? Stop!
I didn't wave and the guy that was on the bike was right there.
Sorry, Jim, it's Mike. I told him your name. I got a group of kids. Wave to him, Jim. Hey! Jim saying hi to everybody. Yeah, Larry.
What is that?
I think
Sorry, Jim? No! Hit the clanger. Yeah! So now, guys, I'm not going to do the horn because they're right beside us. We're going to go a little bit further.
Thôi đi đi đi. Em biết cái nào bác nói con vô thì con mới vô đi tới đó liền tới nhiều má gì. Tại vì Kim có cái cũng sửa cao lên.
So all these curves and like all the switches, I just follow the rail. Remember that little piece of wheel you guys got? Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm following where the wheel's gonna take me.
Do you have to set the switches, or are they usually set for you?
Very good question here. Are the switches always set for you, or do you have to go out and set them? Yes. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Larry's not always here to throw switches for me, so if he's not here, I gotta get out of my train and throw my own switches. So to be a train operator, you gotta have some strength to do that, and you gotta be able to climb up and down from a train too. So there's a few things you gotta be able to do. Okay, I'm stopping the train now, guys, because now I gotta change directions and go back into the wash lane. So I gotta get out of the cab.
So they all just want to move down to the front end?
And they only get the other end, I will get some pictures. Okay, guys, I have to move in now, okay? You know, I gotta let someone else in here, okay?
Fish, come on in.
Come on, everybody get a shot. I'm gonna start to move a little bit though.
We're announcing that now.
Okay, here's the hanger. Here's the
Oh, there's one in there.
Oh yeah.
Yes!
Yeah.
Good for you.
When you're in the cab, did you see
Anybody else want in there? I love that one. Excuse us. Good job. Try it.
Does everybody have a chance to come and try the horn?
Last chance, guys. Let's let the big kid do it.
Yes, big kids are allowed to.
All right, let's do it. Do you want to say hi to somebody?
Excuse me.
That's good.
Do you want to say hi to somebody? Okay. Okay, so now you're going to talk into it.
Yeah.
Say hi to your mom.
You can speak thing.
I'm my dad.
Say hi to your dad.
Hi.
Very good.
I want to sing.
Do it quick. We're running out of time.
Hi.
Oh, wow. Everybody heard you.
I did.
Do you want to do the horn in the clanger? Let's try it. Push that one right there. That's the
There's
clanger.
lots of old buses.
Do the horn right there.
Right?
Oh.
Isn't that good?
You want to say speaker?
Inside.
Oh,
We're going to go inside.
Okay. Let's let the big kid go.
Con nói đi, ra cho cô vô con.
You want to go? Hey, now this is
your
the
turn.
training
Go.
officer. This is good. I like you do this too. Go.
Yeah.
This is Todd's side. We have 4 shorts and I'll go
Nó biết coi đám gì.
Biết coi cho người ta nghe, đi ngang xe lửa người ta cũng hay biết coi chứ.
Biết coi.
Now do 2 shorts.
Thế ra ngoài này xe lửa này.
Now he gives you a signal to go. It's just that simple. Do you want a job as a train operator?
During rush hour, since you're moving so many trains out, I know that you guys have power switches because I've seen the guy.
Those are interlocking. Interlockings are the double towers.
Okay.
Those are power switches. Otherwise, all of our other switches are manual.
Okay.
That is controlled by this box over here behind my back called the VIS console. That's the vehicle identification system. So depending on what code I put in there, it will take me to a certain area. Like at City Hall, I could go straight or go to the right into CP. Or at O'Neill, the Northwest, I could go straight to 69. Oh no, really? Basic's gonna go green. Oh, look at the big group we got here. Okay. So, any more questions, Mail? Yeah. No.
Have the next 50 been announced of which makers it is?
Not yet. Not yet. That doesn't close for a little while.
Oh.
It's up to quite a few makers.
Let's wait until we get to the truck.
I'm gonna eat it in the truck.
Okay, I'll hold on to it for you. Okay.